Okay, let's talk about your spaghetti system on your tractor. If it was anything like mine, when I first got it, it was made up of bits of old John Deere stuff and lampshade cords and pieces of extension cord, all wrapped together with electrical tape and twisted together. And then it had a generator that didn't put out anything. So if that's your tractor, raise your hand. I see everybody in the class has raised their hand. Okay, this is what I did. Now, being true to form, and okay, I want a tractor with a generator. Well, sure, go ahead and send your generator out, your regulator. Go right ahead, have it rebuilt, and go buy your 6-volt battery and your genuine John Deere wiring harness. Okay, got that. That's great. What I have here is a practical tractor. So my practical tractor is 12 volts. Starter is going to sit on top here, and all I did is, instead of going and putting a 6-volt battery in it, I put a 12-volt battery in it. Ooh, that's dangerous. No, it's not. Your 12-volt battery, if you negatively ground your 12-volt battery instead of positively ground your 12-volt battery, do it the way an automobile is done. Just think of a car. Get yourself a 12-volt battery, put it in there, reverse the cables around so the positive side is going into the starter switch and the negative side is grounded. If you just want to charge your battery just by hand and not have anything else work, it'll still work. You can just charge your battery by hand, put a charger on it every now and again. 12-volt battery will start that starter, run that starter just fine. It runs it a little bit faster, but it's a huge starter, and the windings are huge. You're never going to burn that starter up, as long as it's working properly to begin with. So all I did is I reversed things around. Then I went and wired things up myself. Okay. I have a genuine John Deere water gauge and genuine oil pressure gauge, but I just got a voltmeter instead of an ampere. And all I did was go out to the salvage yard, and I went and got this. It was off a General Motors van. I don't know what, like a 20 van, like a 90s model in the middle, kind of 91 or 2. The old round-bodied General Motors van. It's got one wire going to it, and then it's got a 1 and a 2. You need to run a jumper from this to 2, like I have here. See this jumper? This little jumper here screws on here, goes to number 2. What that's going to do is excite your field coil in your alternator, because you'll have power going to it. You can run 2 wires or 1 wire as long as you got some big wire. This is going to put out, I don't know how many amps, but I've got 2 pretty good sized stout wires there. It's going to hold about 40 amps. The wires, probably I should probably have 3, but 2's okay. It's big enough. While the tractor's running for a long time, I can feel the wires. They're not hot. They're not even warm. So there's not a lot of load going through there, so it's fine. The other side goes to read your output, and that's going to go to your gauge, I think. I don't have a schematic, and I wired this myself off of a schematic on the internet. So you can find it on the internet, on Melly's tractor page or Sharp's tractors, or just Google 12-volt alternator for John Deere tractor, and you'll see it. It's a real simple schematic. I run my wires through the pipe. I've got some of that plastic stuff that tucks up underneath the tank, underneath the gas tank. A couple things I did. I run my grounds off my ground cable. So of course I'm going to have a ground going to my voltmeter, and then this reads off of actually this goes to this switch, so I can turn it on and off. So essentially this switch, when I have it clicked out once, it turns the alternator on. Essentially it excites the field. I think that's what it goes to. It goes to this to excite the field. The other one might be a ground. Can't be sure. Maybe I'm using a ground to connect the together to, because these are your field coils, and this is what, as soon as you hit these two together, I think that's what this is, and it excites the coils in there, and then it allows the electricity to flow, or makes magnetism, so it makes electricity. And then I have it rigged where one more switch out operates my headlights and my tail light. I just put a little tail light back there. So if you have this positive ground, it's not going to work that way. If you have a negative ground, you can use, it's a light. It's not going to matter whether it's positive ground or negative ground. But if you have it set up like a car, you can jump it from another vehicle. You can give it a jump. You could put a stereo system on this if that's what you wanted. You could put a cigarette lighter on it. You can do whatever you want to. It's 12 volts. It's normal. My light bulbs I changed with 12 volt bulbs, of course, because if you use 6 volt bulbs, as soon as you turn them on, they're going to go dim real quick. This kind of looks all spaghettied together, but I do have a 10 amp fuse going to my mains, and my switch is fused, so if anything shorts, it blows the fuse. This switch right here, where the shutter is, or where the shutter went, the shutter control, is just a ground switch that goes to my magneto. So if I want to shut it off, I have the key in there, I turn it off. But you don't have to do that, because with this tractor all you have to do is pull the throttle back and it's done. It shuts itself off. But if you wanted to do that, you could even make it one of those trip switches that if you fell off your tractor and you had it attached to you, it would shut the tractor off, because a kill switch. If you wanted to do that, safety switch. Or if you wanted to rig it up to your seat where you sit in it and it clicks a switch. I don't know, whatever. But that's the way I did it, is that just goes to my magneto. Tips about wiring: use heavier wire. Heavier is better. Spot tie things together. That looks like a mess, but it all fits, and it's all quite neat once I get the battery tray and whatnot in there. Switches. This I bought from Steiner. It's a piece of junk. The only people I can find the switch from is Steiner. Hey, so I had to buy another one. Hopefully it'll work. It worked for a while. It doesn't, when you pull the lights out, sometimes it doesn't drag the. I've taken it apart several times and I can't. It's a problem with the actually engineered switch itself. So I'm using that switch to turn the alternator on, and I'm using it to also turn the lights on. And when you turn the alternator on, you'll see your energy gauge go to 12. Provided that your engine's spinning fast enough, it will go up to 14. And what I say about that is, this has to spin. You probably have to make your tractor run at 8.5, 850 or 900 RPMs to make this thing spin fast enough to get it started. Once you get it started, you can back down on the throttle 500 RPM, something like that, or 500 or 600 RPM, and it'll still make power. This had a bigger pulley on it also, and I put a smaller pulley on it so it'll spin it faster essentially. Now, how did I rig this on the tractor? Well, it's got a bolt going through it and several washers I used to shim things up. But what I did is I cut the end of this off. Oh, that's sacrilege. I can't believe you cut that generator stand off. You know, hey, practicality is what I'm looking for. And then I got a piece of angle iron and bolted it up there. I made a little angle there and I made a hole. So it fits through there, the bolt tightens up. Then I made my own bracket out of a smaller piece of angle iron, ground out a little hole so when I pull the alternator up and down I can adjust it through that hole, and it works quite nicely. So that's my system I have, and I'll show you once I start putting it together where everything goes, if I can remember. Okay, there's the spaghetti system for you. Good luck on yours.